Perhaps you're thinking of booking a cruise to the Canary Islands and Madeira. They're very popular all year round. And we are going to take a look at Gran Canaria, Lanzarote, Madeira, Las Palmas and Tenerife, and we're going to show you what we got up to in each of those destinations. I'm going to show you the prices, how much the excursions cost on a cruise, and what we did to save a little bit of money when we were in those destinations.
So that we can afford to book another cruise. Yeah. It makes sense.
Stick around and we'll go through the following islands and you can see if a Canary cruise is something you want to do.
We are in Funchal, Madeira. We've been here before and we've done the cable car. We've looked at the basket ride on the way back and decided not to do it. And that's the same today. So we've seen those sites. We've been to the church at the top. And we decided, well, we're going to save ourselves a little bit of money. We're just going to walk around and see what there is. There are loads of tour buses. There's the hop-on, hop-off buses. There are also tuk-tuks that you can take. But we thought, while our legs are working and we are still just about young enough to do it and burn the calories off, we will do that. You were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that Marella are putting on a bus to take you from the ship into the town for £10 each. As many times apparently as you want to use that facility. It takes 20 minutes to walk into town from the ship, so you decide if you think that's good value for you. There's also a lot of taxis around with guys offering trips. I don't know how much they are, but you know, if you haven't booked an excursion on your ship and you want to do an excursion, there is choice here. The one thing I didn't see was anybody handing out maps. You know, I like a map. No sort of tourist information booth. That's what I wanted to say.
And you did, and you said it very well. Right, let's go and see what Madeira on the cheap has for us. So we've come to an interesting fort that's also a restaurant. It's not too far away from where we've docked. In fact, you can just about see our boat from here, if I flip the camera around. There she is, Explorer 2, next to P&O's Arcadia.
I recommend coming up here. You can get some lovely photographs. It's really nice.
And it seems to be a beach area, although it's very rocky, that the locals use for swimming in and launching their boats. So it's a nice little sheltered cove. So if you do want to get some sea, and it's not easy, is it, in Madeira? This is a nice little sheltered cove just here. Is that a top tip?
Top tip from Travelling Light.
Ooh, I love your tips. So after our trip to the fort and our walk, we were a little bit thirsty, so we thought we'd find a cafe to have something to eat and drink in. So trying a pastel donato with some Madeira wine, and it was €5, so not too bad. Oh, that's nice. I was recommending not the driest, but the next one down to offset the Portuguese tart. So this is the semi-dry. Just a handy hint if you're here.
And this was the place we went to, Nata 7. Very good, definitely recommend it there.
So fully fortified, we carried on and popped our head into some churches, didn't we?
Yeah, that church was lovely actually. It was decorated so nicely for Christmas and there were quite a lot of people in there, but I enjoyed that church. It's right in the middle of Funchal, you can't miss it.
And then on the way back we went up to that park which has got some stunning views, hasn't it, across. You can see all your cruise ships from there.
Yeah, and lots of greenery. Madeira is such a lovely green island, such a lot of vegetation, just a really pretty place.
It's one of the places that we've said we will definitely go back because we think there's a lot more to Madeira than just Funchal. So we feel as if we've just scratched Madeira, but there's a lot more when you look at maps and places to go to.
Now, there are lots of excursions that you can go on in Madeira. Here are the prices, you know, if you do want to go on one. So here we are on La Palma at Santa Cruz. Now, when you get off your cruise ship, you walk through a terminal And there are quite a lot of booths giving information, and right at the end when you come out there's a booth outside that you can get a map. Yay! You know I like my maps. And the lady has given us a walk that we can do. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but you can see the various points of interest. So yeah, we'll go and see what La Palma has to offer. So La Palma is only very small. At the centre of the town there's a church, isn't there, that we had another look in?
Yes.
Another church.
But again, it's another nice place to just have a potter around and see what's there, see what's available. There are churches, there are museums as well. There's
Places to sit and have a chat.
subscribers to talk to. So right opposite the church is this building behind me, and it's a place to view religious lithographs, and if you're not into that, on the second floor there's a very nice toilet, and we've used it for that.
It was quite busy, saying it's such a small place as well. Lots of people around, enjoying a drink in the cafes, and the prices were reasonable.
They were, but despite that, we still went into the local spa, didn't we, to buy a bottle of water.
We did, yeah. The prices were really cheap in here. I think, about 30 cents, was it, for a bottle of water?
It was, yeah.
Something like that. And then we made our way up towards the Naval Museum.
We're just outside the Naval Museum, and this was recommended by our captain, Captain John. So if it's no good, and we've wasted €4.50 each, we're coming for you, Captain. There's going to be a mutiny. So let's go and take a look and see what the Naval Museum in Santa Cruz has. And you can see a replica of Christopher Columbus's ship, the Santa Maria, right behind us. Well, that was the first time I've been to a museum inside a ship, and it wasn't, as I expected, a collection of photographs of old belly buttons in the Naval Museum. It was actually about naval history and the history of Santa Cruz and how important it was as a military port.
Yeah, I didn't realise how important it was. And there was lots of English information in there. It's only a really small museum. I mean, you've done it in half an hour at the most, haven't you? 15 minutes probably.
But if you're into naval history, you like models of ships, I think it's worthwhile, and it's just quite good fun going up onto the top decks where you can pretend to be a pirate or just generally have a look around and see the sights from the top deck and imagine what it would have been like sailing in one of those small boats back in the day. As we go back onto our giant cruise ship, something that was 21 metres or 36 metres long, as some of them were, careering across the Atlantic Ocean would be something I wouldn't particularly relish.
No.
So yes, credit to the brave sailors from years gone by who put their lives in their hands and went around in these vessels. Right, onwards and upwards. I think we've got a fort to explore now. And we went up to the fort and we were slightly disappointed. There's some nice views, but there's not much really at the top to look at for the fort.
No, there's no information up there. You just do go there for the views. Is it worth going up? I don't think so, really. I wouldn't bother next time.
The graffiti was more interesting than the fort.
Yes.
And this is the black sand beach of La Palma. So it's just like normal sand, but it's black. Don't let that put you off. Although saying that, we haven't brought our towels here today. We weren't expecting beaches, but actually, if you can get used to the fact that it's black sand, it's quite pleasant. In this little sheltered bay, the sea's not quite as aggressive as it was just a little bit further down the coast. People are in having a swim.
It is amazing, really, isn't it? Because you think it's just the colour that puts you off. It's exactly the same thing. It's just sand, but just being that bit darker, I don't know, you just feel really differently about it. It just doesn't feel inviting to put a towel down.
I mean, it's a nice beach. It is a nice
Yeah.
beach, and I think I could get over that. I could bring my towel on it and get used to it. People are enjoying it. I think it's just a culture shock with the volcanic deposits or whatever it is that's caused the black sand.
These are the excursions that you could do on our trip. You can see the prices where you could go. But if it's your first time there, I'd just have a wander. When you get off in Tenerife, you just follow the signs, don't you? And
Look
the
at
lines.
your skills here.
I know.
You should be in a
look at me.
circus.
I know. It's like tightrope walking, isn't it?
No, I was thinking more the bearded lady.
Oh, okay. But you just walk along, follow the lines, follow the signs. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get into the town from the ship. I suppose it depends where it is docked in the port. And you just like wander along. It's really easy to get into the city centre.
We've just been into the Tourist Information Centre and spoken to Jose, who was absolutely fantastic. We have got brilliant information. We're not here for long enough, but we want to share pretty much all of this with you.
Yeah.
We've been given a map and he's written everything on it that we need to know. There is a free modern art museum. There is a free carnival museum where you can try on all the carnival dresses and dress like a queen. Those are both free. There is San Sebastian, which is, what was that?
That was a natural history museum.
Yeah, that's €5 to get in. There's a couple of churches. There is a beautiful park within walking distance. There is a Lido, which we've been to before, and that's about €5.
And that is fabulous, that Lido, for
We've had
€5, yeah.
When we've been here before, we've had a really good time there, and there's a botanical gardens right next to that. But there is so much to do and see.
I think the biggest thing for me, though, was at 10:30 a.m. every day, there is a free walking tour in English. Don't have to pay for anything. It starts at the Tourist Information Office in here. It lasts for an hour and 10 minutes, and Jose normally guides it, and he takes you to some places that you would never have known about and gives you the history of Santa Cruz and of Tenerife, which sounds amazing. And if we were here, we would definitely have done that walking tour.
You're underground under the castle or somewhere, so that sounds good. If you don't fancy shops, if you don't fancy museums or walking tours and want to go to a beautiful beach, Playas de las Terrasitas is easily accessible via the bus. You can pay on the bus, you can use your credit cards to pay, and it's the 9:10 from just by the port. Yeah,
it's the bus stop just by the port, and it goes about every 10 minutes, and he says it takes about 15 minutes to get there, and he said it is a really lovely golden sand beach.
And the recommended coffee, which you can get in any of the restaurants and cafes here, is the Barquito Especial, which is coffee with milk, with condensed milk, with lemon peel and a liqueur.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
It does sound nice, doesn't it? Maybe we need to get one of those.
Yeah. So it sounds like there is so much to do in Santa Cruz, Tenerife, if you're here for one day. So much that, you know, even if you're visiting the island and you're staying at one of the beach resorts and you hadn't thought about coming to Santa Cruz, there seems a lot to look at and see, doesn't there, in the capital?
And it all seems very reasonably priced as well, because we heard that a lot of people have said that Tenerife has become expensive. Now, whether that's expensive to stay in the hotels, but, you know, things are free, €5 to get into a museum, a couple of euro on the bus. It seems quite reasonable to us.
Yeah. So, big tip, get to the Tourist Information Centre.
Definitely. And thank you to Jose.
Yeah,
you've been a star.
Jose, you were brilliant. So, Lanzarote. Now, you can go on a few trips from here. We have never done a trip when we've gone to Lanzarote because we love our little walk to the beach. When you come off the ship, you just follow the signs that are pointing to the city centre, and it's very flat, isn't it? It's a nice little walk.
It is. There's a lot of money, isn't there? It seems to be in Arrecife.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you go past the marina. It's very upmarket, this port is. And, you know, you can see all the lovely yachts and wish, yeah, when I win the lottery, I'm going to have a yacht like that. There's a tourist information centre where you can get a map. Yay!
Good for you. Yeah, you love your maps.
And then you just continue walking along the pathway, and you can walk along here and turn off right into town, or continue along the coast as we did towards a lovely little beach that whenever we come here we always go to, don't we?
What do I look like? I look like Timmy Mallet
Yeah,
on holiday.
You're going to start singing Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. I can't even get my words out. Well, then we got to this beach, which is lovely. It takes about 35 minutes to get there. But nobody goes there. Every time we come here, it is empty, and I think it's a lovely beach, and it's the one island on a Canary itinerary that you can get to a beach to easily and swim in the sea. There are no sun loungers to buy. You just take your towels, place them on the beach, doesn't cost you any money. And we were just there with the locals, weren't we? And this is at 12 noon now. Look, and nobody's there.
This is the busiest it got.
Yeah, it is lovely. I love doing this when we come to Lanzarote. And then it's just a nice leisurely walk back along the front again, which is very pleasant.
On the front there's a history museum, which we didn't go to, but it's in an old fort, and that looks as if it might be interesting if you're a bit of a history buff. And there's also a lagoon which is surrounded by cafes, and we've stopped here.
It takes about 20 minutes to walk there from the port, doesn't it? The one thing I've never found in Arrecife is lots of shops. Perhaps I've just been looking in the wrong place.
Good morning, welcome to Saturday in Gran Canaria. We've decided that we're going to have a walk into the old town today. We've never been to the old town part, and we couldn't find the bus, could we, to start with? So we decided we would walk. It's about 5 kilometres.
This is the very first port I think I've ever got off at where there's no map, there's no tourist information, there's nobody to ask anything. The only thing there is a red hop on and hop off bus. We did go to the bus station and we thought we were getting on the bus, but it was going in the opposite direction, and the staff weren't really that helpful at explaining how to get on the bus in the direction we did want to go.
We have just arrived, sort of just on the edge of the old town.
So we have found the tourist information office in the old town, and it's behind me. I've got a map. We are here, we're going to walk along this road, and there's quite a bit to see at the end. So you see, it pays to ask. Giles would just not have bothered asking, and he'd have just wandered down the street. I like to ask and know what I'm doing. You know, it makes sense, doesn't it?
And I like to just explore and have a spirit of adventure and see where life takes me. I really don't know why we bother travelling together. We're very, very different people. So after a short domestic argument, we decided to walk around the old town.
Yeah, the old town is really nice. And I mean, you can go on excursions, but they are going to cost you a bit more money. £18 each to get to the old town with Marella. That was quite a lot, I thought.
For a transfer, yeah.
And there was a market close by, very much for the locals, that was, though. It wasn't a touristy market, was it?
No.
And the cafe culture's nice there. There's, you know, lots of eating out.
And it was reasonably priced, wasn't it?
Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, lots of people eating out. And we just had a little wander, really, didn't we, around the streets?
It did.
It was quite empty.
Yeah, look at those old people holding hands.
Pathetic. There's some nice little churches that you could go into. Giles didn't drag me into one on this visit, though. He loves his churches. Never goes into him in England.
We didn't get... Yeah, I might get struck down. There is a museum as well. This was the Christopher Columbus house.
I never knew he lived there. That
No.
was a big shock for me.
That was interesting.
Yes, right at the back of the cathedral, isn't it, that?
Yes, yeah. We'll come on to the cathedral in a little bit. It was only €4 to go into that house, into the museum.
I wish I'd have gone in there now.
There was a bit of buzz, bit of atmosphere, and the weather was superb.
I love just like watching the pigeons, I did, in the park. I love watching pigeons. Yeah.
You're a strange girl. Look at you watching this fountain now. Look and see if there's
No,
a
I'm
pigeon
trying to
coming.
check the pigeons. Look, I'm checking the pigeons out. There's not much greenery, I have to say, in Gran Canaria. And then, of course, you've got the lovely cathedral. That was very pretty and decorated for Christmas as well. €6 to get in. We decided not to go in on this occasion, but, you know.
We were on a budget, weren't we?
We were on such a budget that we hadn't had a drink at this point apart from our water bottle. So we decided that we'd find a little cafe, and we found one on the edge of a park. It was really quaint in there, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And then after that, we took a walk back.
I always like a beach when we go on these little walks, and we came across one. It's lovely, this beach is. There's nobody on it. Again, I like empty beaches, I do. I think it may be because the view that you have isn't great. There's a lot of shipping containers in the distance. The beach on the other side of the new town is probably nicer. We've been there before. But
So it's certainly got nicer views.
But it's so much busier.
Yes.
This one was a nice beach, just to stretch your legs and get near the sea. It doesn't take you long to get there either, just a little walk if you don't want to go to the old town.
Thank you very much for watching our video and our little guide to the Canaries. If you're interested in watching any more cruising related content, we've got plenty on our channel, so please think about subscribing and take care. We'll see you again soon.
Bye!
Bye.